This is Ted Hicks, and we are back for another edition. Thanking our listeners in the U.S. and abroad. And specifically, we're going to thank our friends in Kansas City, Missouri, the Underground. That's theunder.us with our good friends 9-0 that always talk about us on Facebook and social media. But we're broadcasting every week live from 12:40 a.m. WGBB, and I can only do it with my tag team partner, Richie V.
Teddy Ted.
How you doing?
Good, man. Good. What's going on? How are you?
Pretty good. And something quick I need to read, Rich, for our good friend, Dr. Michele Reed, who isn't here. We want to say congratulations.
Of course.
The NAACP Health Committee is honoring her on Monday with the Dr. William Montague Cobb National Award this year at the National Convention Health Luncheon. And it's really due to her efforts in addressing health disparities and empowering African Americans to live healthier lives.
Well, one, that is a well-deserved award because you and I both know that she doesn't just talk the talk; she walks the walk.
Oh, she does walk the walk.
She is, and she runs the run, and
yes,
she sit-ups the sit-up.
Yes, she does. All the time,
on top of it, and it's something that's near and dear to her heart. Trying to keep the community, all communities, as healthy as possible. So this is definitely a well-deserved award. Congratulations, Dr. Michele.
Definitely, and we will. As per our conversation that I had with her this later this week, earlier last week, she will be back next week.
All right.
A lot to cover here, Rich. We have 2 segments, but 3 guests. Segment 1 is going to be with our friends Jesse Giorgi from the Charge Group. He's the director of brand strategy. We partnered up on Late Night Parents on identifying the hottest athlete brands that are under age 25.
Targeting the under age 25 market?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not per se the market, but the athlete that's under.
Oh, the athletes themselves under 25.
Yeah, that are under age 25. And the number one athlete is, we will get to that. That's considered a radio tease.
And then we have a pause and then go to commercial?
Yes. We usually do that. And in the second segment, we will go with our good friends from Cinema Savants, Rob Steele and Rob Vandenberg from the Cinema Savants show, coming to us live from San Diego, California.
ComicCon.
To talk about we got to go to ComicCon. That's something I'm game to go to.
I'm game for ComicCon. I'm game for SEMA. I'm game for almost all of them.
I mean, because we went to the New York Comic-Con.
It was okay.
It was okay, but it wasn't.
It's not San Diego.
It's not San Diego.
Right.
It's not San Diego.
We're looking forward to it. Yeah, it'll be good to talk to Rob and Todd, see what they've seen. You're hearing so much coming out on social media about especially the releases that Marvel has put out over Comic-Con with all the new, everything's getting wrapped up and tied together, it seems, in the Marvel Universe. So we've seen a lot of that coming out, so it'll be good to hear what they saw and what they think about it.
And it's a decade of movies.
It's been that long since
It's
Iron
a
Man.
decade of movies, and finally this big jigsaw puzzle is coming all together.
Infinity War.
So Phase 3, is that Phase 3, the end of Phase 3, or is that the start of Phase 4?
I don't know. It's a long timeline. I know
it is a long timeline. It is a long timeline. As we wait for our initial guest, you have something on the desk here.
Yes, I do.
Would you like to talk about it?
Sure. So, recently I went to the PepCom meeting in New York City. This was about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. And one of the vendors that was at PepCom was MEEM Memory. That's MEEM Memory. MEEM. And they have a device which is available for iPhone, for Android and iPhone, which allows you to just plug your phone in.
Okay.
And charge it.
Okay.
And automatically back it up.
Back it up to where?
Backs it up to the device. There's a memory stick within here. Backs it up to the device. First time you plug it in, it goes online, downloads the app, updates the firmware on the device if it needs upgrading, runs a full backup.
Does it prompt you to download the app, or does it do it automatically?
It prompts you because you got to have permissions. It doesn't just go out and do it, but it leads you to the store or to the site, so you can just click, install, and go.
It's a free app, or is it 99 cents?
Free app. Free app.
Okay.
So it's included with your purchase of the device.
I do remember seeing something on latenightparents.com.
Yes, I did put something out about this because this is one of those things where why hasn't someone done this before?
Right. So does it back up the entire phone?
Backs up the entire phone. And at least for the Android version, you can do 3 devices.
I know someone that could use one of those.
Shots fired.
If she wasn't here.
You'd be getting a vote right now saying, I could have used it, couldn't I?
I could have used that.
Lets you back up 3 devices. Lets you choose what you want to back up.
Okay.
All right. Then makes it very easy to just connect into the device, retrieve whatever you want, browse the items. You can copy from one device to another using this device if you like.
So it's kind of like a localized version of Carbonite, Carbon Copy, Cronus.
A localized, it's even more so, it's just like a localized or an external hard drive.
Right.
Plug it in, the interface goes. Actually, I'll show it to you later on. I won't.
How large is the hard drive?
This one is a 32 gig.
32 gig. Okay.
They're available in, I saw 16s, but I think that might have been an older version. So now it's 32, 64, and 128.
All right.
Online, ranging from $49 to $69, I believe it was, on Amazon at least.
I know we're not endorsing the product or anything like that, but if you had a chance to go thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up for sure. It just makes all the sense in the world. It's quick. It's painless. You can schedule it, or every time you plug it in, it'll do it. So for me, this has replaced the charger that's by the bed. Mm-hmm. Plug it in when I get home, but just before I go to sleep, plug it in. It's back to the phone, and the backup the first one, of course, takes the longest.
Right.
But on my phone, which I've had now for almost 2 years, the entire backup is done in like 5 minutes.
Okay, so the initial backup is done, and then it looks for incrementals, or
yes.
Okay.
Oh, and it's encrypted. The backup is encrypted, so you get to put a pin in, 4-digit pin.
Okay, I was going to ask you about the security, just in case if
I gave this to you right now, you wouldn't be able to do anything.
Perfect.
10 tries, locks the device out.
Perfect.
And then there's you can go to a link on their website. It's in the documentation at least. If let's say you forgot your PIN, something like that. And I didn't try it because I didn't forget my PIN, but they do have a means, I guess, that you can validate that you're the legitimate owner and get back into the device.
So you did have to register it?
Yes, it's part of the process.
Okay. All right. Well, I definitely think we should speak with our good friends at MEEM, maybe do a giveaway on site, or
that's a great idea.
During the show, or just on Facebook.
That's a good idea. I will reach back out to them.
Or even on Twitter or whatever like that. Twitter just doesn't seem to get a lot of love, though. It's still the place to go to.
It's the informational place to go to.
Yes.
We've had that conversation before.
Yes.
Facebook is for friends and family.
Yes.
Twitter's for business.
Twitter is for business.
And if you're serious about something, Twitter is also for advertising in its own way. But Twitter is also for service.
It's true.
If you want to get a vendor's attention,
you go to Twitter.
Post a message on Twitter saying, I am unsatisfied.
I am not
with something
happy.
that happened.
I am not happy about this.
Yep.
And you can count how long it's going to take.
Had it happen a couple of times.
Before someone gets back to you. Okay, stop. Direct message us.
Right.
And we can resolve this.
Right.
I had that same approach with my alarm company.
Oh, really? What happened?
It was the byproducts of the installation. Mm-hmm. And make a long story short, the smoke detector was installed in the incorrect location.
Oh, so okay.
It was installed right near a bathroom door. So when the steam would come out
every time someone took a shower.
Yes.
Beep, beep, beep. Yep.
And then I was getting calls from from
The
their
monitoring system, right?
Yeah, from their monitoring system.
Right.
And then if I didn't get to that console quick enough, the fire department was being routed to my house.
You were one of those guys.
Yes. So I got online and told them I wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me that, okay, sure, we will move this device for you.
Right.
And it'll be for the low cost of $79.95.
No.
I told them no. They came back and said, okay, the low cost of $34.95.
No.
And by the third time, I said, okay, I'm getting off the phone with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I went online.
Mm-hmm.
There was no charge.
Right.
And their tech was out there that week.
Right. No one wants bad publicity.
No one wants bad publicity, but it's a shame that you have to do this sometimes with some of these vendors.
There's a story I'll tell you. It was fairly recently. I went to I guess technically it is fast food. Went to a fast food restaurant and bought something that I would not normally have purchased.
Okay.
And it was not the meal as glamorous as advertised.
Okay.
I actually wasn't even feeling too well after it. And when I was eating it, I'm like, this is garbage.
Mm.
I sent them a direct message. I said, you know what? I'm going to be nice. I'm not going to put them on blast to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Said, yeah, this should not be called this. It should be more like called mystery meat of some sort. But they didn't respond.
No?
No response. This is a national chain.
Really?
So I'm like, I'm trying to be nice, trying not to, to put them out there, but they might get that message publicly instead.
Oh yeah, they should.
Because
without a doubt,
it just wasn't right. So I'm holding off now on naming them.
And you are probably one of the nicest people, kindest, bravest people I know on the planet.
No.
And when you get ticked off, that's something else.
All right, I will agree with that.
Yeah, I mean,
you got me over the edge. Yeah, it's a problem.
It's done a lot.
It's a problem.
There's an issue.
So they're going to get the message.
Because publicly. I'm just saying, from knowing you all these years, I'm right, I'm quicker to fly off the handle.
Yeah.
But for you, it's like it has to take a lot.
Yeah.
To get you to that point where you're like, not happy.
Yes. This is one of those times. Because
you know what, Rich? Nowadays, it's all about customer service.
Exactly.
I mean, think about what we do during our 9-to-5s. And yes, technical work, but a lot of it is customer service.
It's more customer service than technical.
Soft skills.
Yes.
Responding back to someone.
Exactly. How to speak with someone. How to calm them. Let's face it, we are service providers.
Right.
And anyone in a service provider position, it's the first thing you're dealing with is a person who's calling you or contacting you because they have an issue, which means they're not happy.
Right.
For whatever the reason may be. The first thing is just keeping them calm. It's like, all right, you know what? Making them comfortable, letting them know, all right, you're contacting me, we can fix this.
Right.
We can make something happen here. Relax. It's okay. It's not, that's more of the battle than anything else. Anything technical can be fixed, repaired, replaced. Just understand and don't overextend yourself.
That's true.
That's the other part too. If you can't do it, tell them you can't do it, and that you put them in contact with someone that can.
It's true. And I also think a huge piece of it is having one neck to choke. A lot of people laugh when you say that.
Yeah,
but
that's true too.
You put one person in front of a customer.
Right.
And that one person takes them from point A to point Z.
Right. Don't pass them around.
People are okay.
Right. That's true.
Even if it takes several hops to get to that point.
As long as you communicate with them. Keep them appraised of the situation.
Right.
Apprised, and you're good.
That is true. So, I mean, I'll leave it at that point. Looks like our first guest, Jesse Giorgi, did not make it.
Oh, okay. Jesse, we hope there's nothing wrong, and we'll speak to you next time.
When we spoke to him last time, believe it or not, he was telling me he was getting ready because it was Yankees-Red Sox weekend. Mm-hmm. was Yankees Red Sox weekend, and I guess he's a Boston fan, and I said, okay, but I'm not a Yankee fan.
Okay,
I'm a Mets guy, so.
He's like, forget it then.
Right. He was trying to turn the screws a little bit. I was just like, okay, I'm fine with that. But we hope the best for Jesse.
Yep.
I'm sure he'll be on, if not our next show or during a podcast, to tell us about this index that we put together and we put together on the site. So we'll move that. You're listening to Rich Valdez and Ted Hicks on Late Night Parents. Way to follow the show. Just go to latenightparents.com, where you'll find blogs, you'll find more blogs, and you'll find podcasts. And you might find some video. You might.
You'll see some more.
You'll see some more video that's coming up there. But I got to tell you about this. There's something that's happening on the left coast.
What now?
The left coast. San Diego, California. ComicCon. I think folks have been there since Wednesday, and I believe it wraps up tonight.
I think it's tonight, yeah.
And we have none other on the line than the two great co-hosts of Cinema Savants, Rob Steele and Todd Vandenberg. The crowd goes wild.
The crowd goes wild.
Gentlemen?
Well, I know I'm here anyway. I don't know where Todd is. The crowd falls asleep.
Oh, stop.
Oh, not at all.
Gentlemen, how you doing?
Great. How are you? Swell.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
They have that Comic-Con burned out sound.
Yeah, they do.
Like they've been overstimulated, looking at too many people walking around in too many multiple color costumes.
You should have seen that former who looked like he should have been in Miami Vice. That was just, wow. Exactly. Yeah, we talked about Comic-Con for, about an hour and 15 minutes, where our show ran over, and we still didn't even hit on everything. So there was a lot going on in Comic-Con.
That happened afterwards, so jeez.
Gotcha.
Overload.
I will open it up with this question. No, it's not a Justice League or an Avengers Infinity War question.
All right.
The question is, why don't we have a female James Bond and Idris Elba as Doctor Who?
That's a great
question.
Because
Idris Elba is signed on to do the Dark Tower series, which is going to take forever. And if we change James Bond to a woman, it would be Janet and not James.
Maybe
those are my off
Jamie
the top
Bond.
of my head answers.
Todd?
Yeah, I'm all for Idris Elba being James Bond, as we mentioned on our show this
couple times.
Early afternoon, because he would be the best James Bond ever, and I love Sean Connery, but he'd be even better. And he can do it on downtime from the Dark Tower, which will probably be 80 films by the time they're done. Yeah, as far as a female James Bond, can you imagine the uproar from the, I am not sure how I can call them on the air, but
traditionalists.
let's just say they're stupid people who are upset that Doctor Who is a female. It's like, the problem is that Doctor Who's been a male for 12 separate entities, and it's an alien. He could be an African gray parrot, as I said earlier today. It's like, he's an alien. He can be anything he wants. So it's kind of odd that he's always been a male on a planet that's about half female. So it's about time. But yeah, a female James Bond, Janet Bond, that would be very cool. Idris Elba's Doctor Who, that would be excellent, but I'd really rather see him as James.
I think I'm with you there, too. I think he just would make the role. And yes, Sean Connery rules as James Bond. I second that.
Absolutely.
So let's get to something Comic-Con related now, then. I'll ask the Justice League question. Or actually, how about give us the Justice League Comic-Con overview? What
Rob?
did you guys pick up there?
Oh, geez. You want me to do this? Okay.
Well, we'll both do it, but you first.
Oh, thanks. Well, basically, the first thing that came out was they're going to get rid of Ben Affleck, and everyone went, no, don't get rid of Batfleck. And even Ben came out and said, no, I'm not leaving, because once you're Batman, you are the coolest person on the planet, as evidenced by Adam West, who was never cooler than when he was Batman.
Yes, okay.
I saw him in stuff before. I saw him in stuff after. No, he was cool when he was Batman, and not really so much otherwise. But they also announced that the Flash movie that is forthcoming is going to be doing the Flashpoint storyline. And if you don't know that, it's, wow, if you've seen the Flash TV series and you ever gone, Barry, you screwed up the timeline again, he never screwed it up more than during this Flashpoint series where everything got changed. And that's what they're doing with the Flash movie. So there is your potential out for Ben Affleck as Batman. Just have it change over during the Flash movie. Fine, whatever. But they also announced, or I guess released the trailer for the upcoming Justice League movie, which looks excellent.
Yes, it does.
Then again, all of the trailers have looked excellent. And the movies haven't always lived up to the trailer. But I have hope for this one. I always have hope for these movies because the characters are so good. And if we can just get them written correctly, we'll be fine. Actually, I wanted to bring up something because Todd mentioned this during our show this morning, that at the end of the trailer, we want to know who Alfred is talking to.
Yes.
Right.
Is he talking to Superman? Is he talking to a Green Lantern? And I don't know if you guys noticed this. I sent you a screenshot from that last scene.
Yes.
And the reflection that we're seeing in Alfred's glasses is kind of green. I think it's a bit more bluish. I think it's actually monitors on a computer behind them, because in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you see what looks to me like a red cape.
Oh,
well,
so
I'm going with Superman on that.
If it's Superman, it's really stupid, because why would Superman have to be asked to show up?
Right.
He's dead.
That makes no sense.
He's dead.
So,
I thought that was the whole
dead,
arc.
Can you come back because we're trying to save the planet? That makes no sense, but that would fit in with the bad writing that was in the Batman v Superman thing. So I can see it fitting. I like the trailer. I would be happier if they had just given the entire franchise over to Patty Jenkins, who, since Christopher Nolan, is the only person that DC has employed who knows what a comic book hero looks like. It looks good, but like Rob said, all the trailers look good. Some of them look fantastic. Several of them look better than this. I wasn't thrilled with the big energy beam coming down from the sky. Oh, I haven't seen that in like the past 15 movies. And the person landing on the ground doing the three-point stance with the knee on the ground, because I haven't seen that in like 1,000 movies. They're doing that at Wimbledon now. It's so common. So, it's a lot of kind of boring tropes. I hope it rises above it. There's good reason to think it will. The fact that they're going with a Flashpoint Paradox script for the Flash movie is huge, because that's one of the best things DC has ever done. And I was shocked that they actually had the guts to do something like this, because it's kind of scary and frightening, and it might not be quite suitable for all ages, but it's very cool that they're doing it. So I've got hopes, but they're pretty tempered based on what DC has done lately before Wonder Woman.
So I think my first question would be, and based on Rob's JPEG, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, or Jon Stewart, or who do you want to see in the DCEU?
You're going to like the answer to this.
Okay.
You're going to like the answer to this. There is a Green Lantern Corps movie on its way.
Perfect.
I don't think it's been cast yet, but the concept that they have put out is that it's going to be kind of a Lethal Weapon-ish thing, where Hal Jordan, who is already an established Green Lantern, recruits Jon Stewart. So the story as we have it right now is we're getting both of them. Skipping Guy Gardner. Kyle Rayner apparently doesn't exist yet, and I apologize for not knowing the fifth Lantern of Earth. I know there's a fifth one in the books.
They need to skip Guy Gardner entirely. Yeah, I think it's the Green Lanterns will be popping up because that's a great way to set it up. It makes sense.
They were mentioned in the trailer.
Yeah,
you listened for
exactly. As was the Kryptonian. And it just makes... Personally, I wish it would be the Martian Manhunter, but that's not going to happen, obviously. For some reason, they hate Martians, so don't know what their deal is. They relegated him to the ghetto of TV. He can only show up on Supergirl and look bad. So, I'm hoping it's I'm very much hoping it's Jon Stewart, because that guy was so funny on the Daily Show. He would fit in perfectly.
Yes, he would. Hey, so in the DC TV EU, there's been multiple references to Hal Jordan. So I'm going against the whole Hal Jordan option, and plus that we already had that, and I don't know.
I don't know that we did. We had whatever Ryan Reynolds was. That wasn't Hal Jordan.
It was pre-Deadpool?
Yeah. Colorblind Deadpool. He's green instead of red.
Okay.
I think that they're trying to retcon the entire concept of that movie, which might not be a bad idea considering the way they're going now. So yeah, go ahead. We can start over. That's fine. It's not like we didn't have Marvel didn't change the Hulk a few times since its first movie.
Right.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Hulk, because now we're getting back into my universe. Sorry, we established on an earlier call, I'm not the DC guy, and the movies are all proving why I was never a DC guy. But Marvel now, Thor, Ragnarok, that trailer. I have to admit, I just viewed the trailer moments ago, and I'm pretty pleased with what I saw, for the most part. I mean, I think they're playing up, Thor and Hulk in the arena a bit, but that's always been the battle that we've wanted to see. So, what do you guys feel about it? Excited about this? Not excited? What are you feeling?
This is one of the trailers that I was thinking of when I said there were much better trailers out there for movies that, frankly, I think will be much better than the Justice League. This looks fun. This looks full of action. The Hulk is battling Fenris, the wolf that will eat the world, and then at the very end he's battling Surtur, this huge fire demon, which, whatever's left he's going to consume. How can you not like that? They're bringing all this awesome mythology. They've got Hela, which Kate Blanchett just is totally scary in this. I mean, she looks and carries herself like someone that could, the line, what again were you a god of? That's just so belittling and so awesome. It just looks fantastic. The director, he's from way back in Flight of the Conchords. He directed What We Do in the Shadows, which is a hilarious spoof on vampires, which is how you go from that to Thor. I'm not sure, but from what it looks to me, it absolutely works. And it's kind of weird. I mean, they're putting together the whole World War Hulk and Ragnarok, and they're doing it in one film. I'm not sure how you're exactly going to pull that off. And from what we've seen of another trailer, which we'll talk about at some point, things may not end all that well for Thor in this film, just from another trailer that we've seen, just putting it that way. So it just looks fantastic. Cannot wait. I'm like 5.7 times more excited for this than Justice League.
Okay, I agree. I'm going to take a little step off here just for a moment, because we're talking about, DC, Marvel, the movies, and there seems to be a consensus amongst us that the Marvel movies have been better made projects. I'm being kind. Why do you think this is? Do you think it's the material that they've got to work with, or is it that Marvel's just been getting better production companies and teams together?
Well, it's the scripts. Because the scripts have not been great since really Dark Knight Rises could have been better. I mean, I like it more than most people, but it already started to slip there. And when they gave Zack Snyder the keys, God knows why. Some of his films are great, and some of his films are terrible. Mm-hmm. But the whole concept in Man of Steel of making him this angsty guy, and you can't trust people. And Dad even tells him, "Oh, don't save me because you don't want to reveal who you are because the people won't like you." that is so against the concept of Superman. It's ridiculous. Right. It literally makes me angry every time I think of it, because it's so not the inspiring figure that Superman is supposed to be. Makes no sense to me. So, and the whole Martha thing. Batman is the smartest guy in the world, and he's figured out the world's greatest detective, and he figures out, oh, I'm Superman, and I'm going to go kill him. And then just because of the weird coincidence that, oh, Mommy's name was Martha, I don't hate you anymore.
Why did you say that? Why did you say that name?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm holding back. I'm just holding
It's
back.
just pathetic, which is sad because, as Rob and I have talked almost every week, the DC animated films are amazingly good.
Right.
The worst one they've done is excellent. And it's just incredible that same company has the rights to this, and they can't see, which is why this is such cool news that Flash is going to go with the Flashpoint Paradox, because that is one of the best DC films, period. And like, oh, we finally recognized we have literally hundreds of scripts. All we have to do is look at Justice League Unlimited and remake some of those instead of just churn out the crap we've been churning out. So, again, with Wonder Woman, gives me a lot of hope that they've finally figured out, oh, they should be fun and entertaining, instead of just grim and action-packed. So, hopefully, they have figured it out. We'll see.
I think the other thing that helps is that Marvel is making their own movies.
Yes.
They're not having to go through Warner Brothers. They're not having to go through... Well, okay, they got to go through Sony to get Spider-Man, but
Right.
I think they did a pretty good job with that. So, being able to do your own stuff. Now, not all the Marvel movies, I think, are better. I think Batman v Superman is better than any of the X-Men movies.
No, I can't go there.
No?
Which aren't Marvel movies, though. They're Marvel
It's not
characters,
really a
but
Marvel
they're not
movie.
Marvel
Right,
Studio
yeah.
movies.
They were true, but no,
There's
Batman.
a big difference.
For me, Batman versus Superman is pretty much at the bottom of the heap of all of them. Well, no, the last 3 Spider-Man movies are below Batman versus Superman. Those shouldn't even
Fantastic Four.
exist. Okay, no, you're right. I was missing that one. Okay, I'll give you that one too, and that's about
No,
it.
but the Marvel Studio movies,
The Marvel
and I know
Studio
that's what
movies
you're talking about, are far superior. It's unfortunately they sold off the rights to Fox and Sony for some characters, and up until Spider-Man: Homecoming, Sony had run it into the ground, and then
Yes.
Fox is, yeah.
The ones that Fox does, like I've said on our show, is I think they're written by somebody who looked at a cover of one of the books and went, I can write that, and didn't bother reading it or anything. It's fan fiction written by someone who saw a cover. That's all it is. And I collected the X-Men for 15 years. So I know those stories up to a point very well, and I've looked at the movies and gone, this is not those stories.
Correct.
Right, that's true.
Magneto was not the bad guy in every freaking book.
Right.
That's true.
He was an anniversary villain. You bring him out every 10 years. It's a 10-year anniversary. Bring out Magneto. Dun, 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 and there you go. There were other bad guys that needed to be put in.
Gentlemen, fact or fiction? Morpheus is planning to make an appearance in AntMan and the Wasp.
Get him, Todd.
From what I understand, he is absolutely planning to make an appearance, and it's more than an appearance. As I said this afternoon, literally, and it may sound extremely nerdy and geeky, but literally got goosebumps when I read that Lawrence Fishburne is going to be cast as Goliath, and then becomes Giant Man, whichever version that he is, a working partner. Bill Foster is the character's name of Hank Pym. It's also pretty nice news that Michelle Pfeiffer is Janet Van Dyne, the original Wasp. I mean, that's awesome. But when I read Lawrence Fishburne, it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, man. Again, another actor that has, talking about acting chops. This dude, man, he has it. He has such screen presence, and just very few actors have that. They're on the screen and it's like, well, that's the person I'm watching. He's got it. And just made me so happy when I saw that. It's like, man, this is so, so awesome. The Michelle Pfeiffer news is very cool, but that really lit it up for me. That makes AntMan and the Wasp a must-watch event for me. It was like, oh, this will be fun. Now, this turned into an event movie just because of that.
I think you're right. I'll agree with that one. So now, while we're still talking Marvel, so it's been, about 10 years since that initial Iron Man 1 came out. Looks like they're wrapping it and bringing us all together towards Infinity War. So I'm sure you guys saw the trailer. Tell us about it. Tell us what you're hearing. Tell us what we should know.
There's still a lot of rumors attached to it as to exactly who is going to be in it, although in the trailer that is kind of partially on YouTube, depends on which camera angle and how the guy who snuck it out used his phone and whether or not he pointed it at the screen at the time. You're going to see just about everybody who's been in the movies so far. There are going to be a couple others added. I was reading just before we called in that it is very likely that Captain Marvel will be making her first appearance in this, even though her movie, which is not coming out until 2019, and is set before Iron Man 1, because time travel will make everybody dizzy. Why not? She's supposed to be in this. Loki is in it somewhere. Everybody gang up on Thanos because he's a really big bad guy, and it looks like it's going to be an awesome movie.
Here's the difference between the big bads of the two linchpin movies of Justice League. And granted, Justice League is, you could say this is okay. This is like the first Avengers movie, because it is. I mean, this is the third Avengers movie that's coming up. Mm-hmm. So yes, they will have bigger and bigger bads. But Steppenwolf, the big bad, which is kind of a terrible character for a big bad, I think. But Steppenwolf lands on this beam of energy, and he lands. It's like, oh, okay, he made the 3-point landing. Big deal. Thanos crash lands in a ship, and then when he gets tired of playing with the heroes, he decides to throw a planet at them. That's kind of the difference. Which is a bigger threat? Just which sounds more impressive, you know? So, the fact that the footage, all the footage you can see is illegally produced, and of course, so is the crowd is cheering and roaring almost the entire time. It's like being at a Beatles concert. You can almost can't hear what's going on because of the crowd. But, Cap shows up, and he's not Steve Rogers shows up, and apparently he's not Steve Rogers anymore because he's not wearing the Captain America outfit, and he's got a beard. He's been on the run.
He's in full nomad mode.
Exactly. He is in full nomad mode. Black Panther shows up with an army, and he has the Winter Soldier with him. It looks like he's like a lieutenant helping him out. Everybody pops up. I mean, it just looks totally sick in the best way.
Since our show this morning, they have released a few movie posters from it, and pick somebody. They're in these posters somewhere, and it's one of those multiple poster things that they all link together and make a big poster. Whatever. The main one has got Steve Rogers in, and if you followed the books, he left being Captain America, became a character called Nomad for a while, and had the beard. That's where they went with this, apparently.
And what I mentioned, things don't look good for Thor at the end of Thor Ragnarok. Apparently, it's because he winds up planting on the windscreen of the Alyssa Milano. That's how the trailer opens. The Guardians of the Galaxy kind of literally run into Thor. Or
run over him, or something like that.
Something like that. They eventually pick him up because they're nice guys. Well, not Rocket, but Rocket got outvoted.
Get him off the screen. Turn on the white.
So
exactly.
I guess my next question is, yes, we're going to have Infinity Wars 1 and 2, or whatever the second one will be named. Will we have a Secret Wars? Or is this the version of Secret Wars?
That's a good question, because the Captain Marvel film is going to be basically a prequel for the whole Marvel series. Well, not Captain America, but other than that,
right?
It takes place in the 90s. And apparently her big bads are the Skrulls.
Okay. So,
Captain Marvel, rather, and the only other character who's been mentioned is Nick Fury, which is awesome, but not exactly someone who typically fights big bads.
Right.
Sounds like Captain Marvel is basically going to be fighting the Skrulls all by herself, which again is to establish what a major high-level character she is, which is very, very cool. But that could certainly set the stage down the road for that. It'll be interesting to see where they go, because obviously this is the time to finalize some of those contracts they have with certain actors.
Correct.
Who may be feeling that I'm getting a little too old to film these action scenes. RDJ. So that would be very sad, but realistically, at some point, they do have to move on from at least a few of these actors. So I can totally see that happening, which is similar to what Rob was talking about. If they are going to recast Batman, the Flashpoint Paradox would be the perfect time to do it because it's set up for that. So
Correct.
We'll see what happens, but yeah, Secret Wars would be awesome.
One more comment. I will say this about Nick Fury, CGI from the 90s. He's going to be badass.
CGI. CGI. Are you telling me that man can't clean up? Come on now. You don't have to CGI. You just fresh shave and he's ready to go. I want to see what his hair looks like in the 90s.
Fresh shave and 2 eyes.
Pulp Fiction.
2 eyes, exactly.
All right, gentlemen. I will tell you, as always, it's been a pleasure to have you. Tell us about how we... Tell us how can we consume... how can we consume the Cinema Savants podcast, radio show, all the above?
Probably the easiest way to do it would be to go to cinemasavants.com. But, that's too easy. So you can probably go to iTunes and look up Cinema Savants. But, again, that's probably also too easy. Or let's make it complicated. How about the Google Play Store?
Oh.
Because that does not... I like the fact that they're putting out the show, but they could make it a bit of an easier interface, I would think. Just stick with the website or find us on Facebook, which would be, facebook.com/ what is it again? Cinema Savants. Yeah.
Cinema Savants.
We just try to make it easy for everybody.
John Spicer's actually handing out CDs. Each CD has 2 episodes. So, he's got nothing to do now. So just look for him on street corners, wherever you live.
Street corners and the bushes and...
in the bushes, exactly.
All the above. Gentlemen, thank you once again.
It's been good. Thanks for joining
Todd
us.
And Rob and Todd, thank you so much.
Thank you for not bringing up that the Fuller House Season 2 trailer was also at Comic-Con, because I did not want to talk about that at all.
Now that you mention it, though. No.
You got it.
Thanks again.
Guys,
Thanks again.
Have a good one. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. That was good. A lot coming up in the comic book / movie world.
Well, it's funny because it's like if you aren't in an upcoming Marvel or DC movie, you are not in the in crowd.
Yeah, this is true.
We didn't talk about the upcoming Aquaman movie. We didn't talk about Shazam. We didn't talk about... I mean, there's a bunch of movies that are in the queue on DC and Marvel that we didn't. We talked really about the big ones.
Right.
That are happening. We didn't talk about the Inhumans TV show.
I saw something about that. That's an interesting one. I was kind of surprised that they went with the Inhumans team for a major project.
I heard for a while that was going to be a movie. And then for some reason, it just kept getting pushed back. And then I said, okay, maybe Netflix.
Right.
And then that wasn't the case. And then all of a sudden, on ABC. Defenders are coming out.
Yes.
Next month?
It's soon.
It's either next month or it's October. One or the two. But 8 episodes of The Defenders.
Perfect.
8.
Perfect.
8 true 1 hour shows.
I was thinking the other day, happens once in a while, that Netflix, why don't they think about, since they have all these properties already.
Yes.
They've got a number of the Marvel. I'm going to talk only Marvel, but it would apply for DC as well.
Okay.
They've got a number of the properties already. Why not release content streaming the same way it's released as a comic book? Meaning, do a monthly project, say 12 episodes a year.
Okay.
Let's say that the first Sunday of the month, it's just to pick names out of the air. The first Sunday of every month, the next Iron Man gets released.
Okay.
our show, our episode. The next week, it's a Fantastic Four episode.
Okay.
The next, it's an X-Men episode. You know, so maybe get 4 major ones going, or split it up and do 8, and then just do 6 months, 6 1-hour episodes. Release them weekly, but it's monthly for each topic.
Okay.
And then maybe tie it all up and wrap it up into one big story at the end of the year or something like that. I would watch it.
Not bad. Not bad. I think the creative development team, who's probably listening right now,
Sure they are.
you know, I will also say Netflix, currently with over 100 million subscribers, more internationally than in the U.S.
Everyone can stream.
Everyone can stream.
And what was that number that Allison, our good friend Allison, mentioned last week?
$6 billion in original programming.
That is insane.
And they're not in the live sports space.
Right.
It's incredible when you say you have that many subscribers and you're not in that space.
It's all movies.
It's all movies.
And documentaries. And
Right.
But yeah, that is just insane. That number's mind-boggling.
You know, so I think it's a really interesting company. You know, it's like when they have their calls, their quarterly calls, and they make it available on the web.
Right.
It's something to listen to.
Right.
It's something to listen to when you hear their leadership being like, okay, where are they going with this? Because I mean, Amazon is jammed down our throats on everything that they're doing as they handle world domination.
One drone at a time.
Yeah, but you know, with Netflix, really incredible. And I just started streaming Ozark.
I just heard about that. I don't know any of the details.
Episode and a half I got through.
Okay.
Very, very, very good. Really loose description. You have some financial planners. One of them is dirty.
Okay.
He decides to, I guess, take a gangster's money.
Oh, okay.
Gangster / warlord / drug dealer. And
he's running for his life.
Jason Bateman is the partner.
Okay.
Who's just like, huh? What's going on? And him and his family, which is Laura Lindley, and his 2 children are kind of like on the run.
Okay.
From Chicago to Ozark to kind of washing money and getting it clean for the gangster. And that's as far as I've gotten to. But very, very, you know, for me, I'm like, okay, it's 10 episodes. Definite.
You can do that, right?
Definite. I know we still have a little bit of time. You want to go into Game of Thrones? You want to talk about last week, your expectations? I mean, I was in the lost. I was
you were totally lost.
Totally.
So that the first, and of course, this will be spoiler free.
First 5 minutes.
The first 5 minutes, you were totally like, "What's going on here? Who is it? But why?" That I almost cheered.
Yeah, that was pretty.
That character, if I did not get that far in the books, I only read the first 2, but that character, as I understand, becomes even more of a major player later on in the books.
Okay. How many books have they gone through in 7 seasons?
They departed from book 4.
Okay.
And I believe that's where they got up to. Again, I stopped after book 2. So I couldn't tell you exactly if they're still sticking to the storyline as it was in the books or not. I was very pleased with what we saw last week. They did the right thing. They touched on everyone. We kind of know where everyone is, physically within the world. Daenerys taking over her original homeland, where she was born. Great to see that. Yes, it was good to see Arya do the things she did. Bran, okay, we know where he is in this world and what's going to happen there. And poor Sam playing off in the apothecary. That was just a great scene. It wasn't settling to the stomach, but it put you in understanding what he's putting himself through and what he's going through, but what he's going to do. The small things he'll learn being there can make a huge, huge difference.
Okay.
Now, did you get to catch up on Leftovers yet?
No, I did not.
I'm curious to hear your opinion.
I did not
on the final season.
I mean, you were kind of beating it up a little bit.
Yeah, but I could be wrong.
No. I think it was valid of what you were saying. I mean, we shall see. What else that I'm streaming out there right now or starting to, to look at? I think I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to say I'm looking forward to Ballers or...
Yes. Yeah, I enjoy that show.
Okay.
It's light. It's quick. Get in there. Yeah, The Rock is doing The Rock.
The Rock is doing The Rock. The Rock, who is Black Adam in the DC movie universe.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know this.
He is
Okay.
Black Adam, and he was slated to be in Shazam. He will not be in Shazam. He will be in his own movie.
As another character?
As the Black Adam.
As the Black Adam.
As the Black Adam.
Okay. Like you said, if you're not doing a comic book series these days,
I'm telling you.
Atomic Blonde. I don't know that.
Atomic Blonde.
Look, seeing the commercials for that.
Yes.
Was that a comic book franchise? Do you know?
I don't believe so.
No. Okay.
I don't believe so.
That looks like it's going to be entertaining.
That does. And what's her name?
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron, and our good friend Cookie from Empire.
Yeah, she's in it?
She's going to be in the... I guess she has her own version of Atomic Blonde that's going to be coming out. But hopefully it's coming out like a year after.
Yes, yeah.
Because it's kind of similar characters, similar characteristics. Kind of, hey, I'm going to run through here. I'm going to run through this wall right here and come out on the other side with no issues.
Female John Wick kind of thing.
Yes.
But that looks... I want to see that. That looks like it's going to be good.
Listen, wanted to let you know, I believe it's next week. Jennifer Chio, the founder of Code Speak Labs, will be joining us. She established computer programming classes for students pre-K through 12 in classrooms in New York and California. We featured her this week.
We did a post on it, right?
Parents?
Yeah, I thought I saw that post. That is one of the things, you and I were not exposed. I mean, it didn't really exist, I guess, right? But we weren't exposed to anything computer related. I know I didn't get to it until it was the later years of high school.
Right.
And now coding, it's the logic. It's more than just, programming. It's teaching these kids the skills to think.
Yes.
And starting them off early to build that logic, to build that process, is nothing but a good thing. So I'll be looking forward to speaking with her and hearing about the program. What incited her to start it.
Definitely. And in the upcoming weeks, we have representatives from UMA, the internet, Wi-Fi,
public Wi-Fi provider.
Yes.
Okay.
Public Wi-Fi provider is going to be joining us with a whole different their initiatives. Also, someone from Hulu.
Okay. Do you have Hulu? Are you a Hulu's?
I am not a Hulu person.
Oh, and neither am I.
Yeah, I'm kind of like you got the Netflix
right.
and you got I got the Verizon, and I'm like I'm pretty good.
Good. And the thing is, I don't know anyone that is.
No, but I've just heard it's picking up. Listeners is picking up. Yeah, consumers are joining them for their live TV streaming services. I think very quickly, Rich, we're at that point. We're about to hit that bubble of all these live TV streaming services will start to emerge.
Right.
This is too many right now.
So just say it. Netflix is going to start buying them.
Yes. Yes. It will be Netflix, Amazon, and someone else.
Right. Yeah.
Outside of the standard providers.
Yeah.
Rich, best ways to get in contact with you?
It's Late Night Rich on Twitter.
All right. And I'm the real Ted Hicks. Best ways to find us. Check the articles on latenightparents.com. You can follow us from latenightparents.com for our Twitter and Facebook feeds, and we will see you next week.
Have a good week, everyone. Thanks for listening.